Hey Wanderers, and welcome back to Outlaws Wanted. Last time the crew of the Honor had hallucinations of their worst fears while holding course on the Black Dreadnaught after it flew through a nightmarish portal. After traveling through the portal, the crew finds themselves in a mysterious purgatory, crying black tears and clinging to each other to maintain sanity. Where we left off, you had all gone through a portal. There was a whole bunch of nightmare stuff associated with that. Now you're floating in a purple haze in not space anymore. And Sully reached out with his weird senses to try to connect to something out here and got a very good and positive feeling, felt at peace and happy, and also kind of had a area where that feeling was emanating from.
So Sully lets Evernote try to navigate to those giant rocks that are apparently a relevant plot point.
All right. Someone needs to make me a heroic piloting check.
I don't like parking on unknown rocks and unknown space, but if you say so, Sully, I'll trust you.
I mean, how is this different than parking on a planet you've never been on before? It's just another unknown rock in the galaxy.
I mean, are we even in the... Never mind. That's a 13.
With a 13, you start piloting towards these rocks, and for the first time since you've been sitting at the helm in this hazy area, you're able to move closer to something, which is a reassuring feeling. It makes you feel more grounded than you have before. You coast closer and closer to them, and there's not the usual gravitational pull and forces that you would expect at work. Instead, there's vague air resistance. But other than that, it requires very little effort to move through whatever this purple mist is, and you're able to land effortlessly on a rock that, once you land on, it sort of feels like there's gravity now, in that you can land on it, you're not just like floating above it.
Does anything else happen when we land on it?
Nope. You just touch down onto a rock floating in true nothingness. Captain Malcolm Llewellyn does the universal sign for a touchdown when he does this. By all, logic of how things should move in space, when you hit this rock, it should move away from you and, move downwards because you've run into it, but it doesn't.
Of course not.
Can I do some, scans on it to see if there's, any life or anything weird? Science scans.
Or air.
Or air.
Sure.
That'll be an 11.
There's air.
I think just to be on the safe side, Vi goes and gets her spacesuit-esque stuff.
Oh, yeah. Mal does as well, just to be safe. Since this is not an environment we're familiar with.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with chaos around, I think everybody wants a filter between them and the outside.
Sully puts on his dad gear. I'm just kidding, he's a spacesuit.
All right, you all suit up. What do you do?
We head out. Or I did a science scan, or you said it gave me air.
There's air.
I guess we head out onto the rock, or Sully heads out onto the rock. I can't speak for everyone else.
Yeah, I'm going with.
All right. All of you walk out onto this rock floating in nothingness. Once you step out onto it, you start kind of looking with your own eyes up close. It is odd in that it is ornate. It looks decorated and carved. You can see crumbling edges around it and breaking up pieces. This seems to have been, as you look at these chunks of rock floating, you can tell that they were meant to fit together, but instead have been, ripped asunder and are now floating, some distance away from each other. It looks like an ancient and beautifully carved thing that has been smashed and left floating in pieces.
Is this, like the center of the universe or something, where it used to be, a planet of harmony and order, and then it got destroyed, and that's where chaos comes from?
I mean, you're gonna find out.
That's a yes.
Can we see enough of these pieces that we could scan them to get a 3D model and puzzle them back together?
You
Could I make a roll for that?
could, yes. Yeah, I'll let you make a roll for that.
Smarts, probably.
Yeah, it can be smarts.
That is a 10.
Okay, using some creative you have the kind of thing where you're able to pinpoint weak points and structures, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that kind of means that you have this sort of innate sense of architecture and can kind of recognize the results of an explosion. And this almost looks like the very beginning of an explosion freeze framed.
Mm-hmm.
And you're able to kind of slowly put the pieces back together in your mind, and as you do so, you can kind of like use a general scan to kind of like, fit these things back together. Kind of like, you know how you can do with the continents on Earth, if you like mush them back together, you can kind of see how they may have shifted apart over time. As you do this, the structure that you can kind of build with your computer and your mind is magnificent. It looked like a massive temple. It would have been round and multi-leveled with spiral staircases leading up and down to different levels. And the top of it would have been hollow, like almost like imagine an observatory, but with the dome taken off. That would have been the top of this.
Okay.
But there is no other connective tissue, right? So it doesn't look like this used to be connected to a planet. This was its own thing floating in this place.
Okay.
And then seems to have been shattered.
I described that to everybody.
Can I do some investigating and see if there are any symbols or imagery that is coming out as, like, that I can recognize as some kind of lore or fairy tale type thing?
That's like a really good question
that he doesn't want you to ask.
I should have a better and more detailed answer for, other than yes. The broad strokes that I will give you is...
Do you want me to roll?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, that's such a good question. I just want to answer it, but yeah, you can roll.
Can I make a similar role, but more with the perspective of, like, keeper teaching / like, magic religion stuff?
Oh, yeah, I like this.
That was a 7 for Vika.
Is it smarts, or is it weird? I don't know what this is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter either way.
What'd you roll?
I rolled a 3, so it'll either be a 5 or a 6.
So, Sully, when you look at this place, the parts of it that stand out aren't what you were taught by the keepers. They are all the parts that weren't. The architecture feels very angry, almost gothic in your mind. It's sharp and aggressive. It feels hostile everywhere that you look. Vika, as you try to piece together, like, from the carvings and from just the structure in general, what you see, you try to piece together, like, an idea of what this place might be. You can tell that there is a story here, that there is a mindset and a perspective represented in the architecture and in the design. And to you, it feels like one of that vague line in between balance and stalemate, if that makes sense. It feels like there are two opposing ideas at work here, and that they are in a grudging balance. Does that make sense?
Kind of.
Like, you would see endless conflict depicted in all of the art around you, not victory and defeat. That's a good way to put it.
Okay. You said that these are rocks that are kind of like platforms. Are there any cave-like features because they're all broken up? Like, can I go searching to see if any person or thing is here?
Oh, okay. So to the party, yes, in general, you can kind of navigate your way through this. It is treacherous in that, like, from Jyla's role of understanding what the structure used to be, you could find the heart of it. You could find, like, the main chamber that this whole structure seemed to be built around, right? But as it has been ripped apart, there is no staircase leading straight there. You are kind of on the platform that you landed on. You would have to, like, kind of scrabble and jump and climb to get closer to that area.
I think I want to do that.
All right. So everybody make me a act under pressure roll.
I would like to do that. This is used as cool, right?
Yes.
13.
8.
9.
9.
So at this point, Malcolm, this is kind of like your training kicks in and you're like, I was trained to deal with really weird architecture because there's so many different kinds of aliens in the Galactic Alliance, and also really weird conditions, Like, I'm sure at some point you were made to scale a snowy mountain while in officer training. So you're able to kind of hop and leap your way up. The rest of you are struggling a little bit more just because maybe you've done this a little bit less frequently, but the only kind of crucial moment is when one of you slips and falls, you might have to leap from like over a small chasm. And when you fall, you don't fall forever into nothingness, almost as if gravity guides you back down to the nearest flat surface. You just kind of end up tumbling back onto the platform you had just leapt from.
So it like resets you like a video game? Like, oh, you're back up to here?
Kind of. It's more like any flat platform you stand on seems to work as if it has gravity. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like if that platform happens to be tilted, by the time you jump to that platform, now that new chunk of this structure that was destroyed is pulling you onto it.
Yeah.
So it's basically like everything's its own little planet.
Yes.
We are giants in this tiny universe, almost.
Yeah, that's actually a really good way to think about it.
Where the gravitational pulls, like these would be like the gravitational pull that Jupiter has on Earth. But if we went to Jupiter, there is a pull there.
Eventually you make your way to one final staircase that's winding around like the massive perimeter of what was once clearly a, majestic building. As you enter the top room that seemed to be the focal point of this structure, you see a scene that has been split in half. There are 2 thrones sitting around just what looks like it used to be a fountain but has long since dried up. One of the thrones is burnt and cracked and empty. The other one, you see a figure sitting in the throne holding a massive sword.
So when you say figure, do you mean a skeleton or a person?
Or a statue.
Well, somewhere right in between there. You can get closer and investigate.
Yeah, I would, definitely.
Sully does.
So as you guys creep closer, you get faint whiffs of the smell of decay.
I mean, I still have a spacesuit on.
Yeah, you get faint whiffs of the smell of decay. Once you're close enough to, see skin, you can see that it is cracked and flaking, and, as little pieces are breaking off, they are just kind of left floating around this figure as it's slowly breaking apart. However, once you are close, you do see its chest rise and fall, and a creaking voice cough out, "Oh, hello, travelers. You have made it so far. I feel pity."
Are you in need of medical attention, good sir?
The figure laughs and coughs again. "I believe I am long since past such things."
I think Sully's gonna try anyway.
So you bend over closer and start scanning this thing. When you do, its head kind of lolls back. You look into its eyes that are shockingly clear and present given the state of decay around its body. The figure smiles and goes, "I somehow think those readings will be less than beneficial." As your scanner beeps and whirs, it detects nothing.
That is weird. And not the normal type of weird that I like.
What is this place?
Oh, such a good question. You stand in the Fount of Duality, the home of myself and another. He gestures with one bony and decaying hand at the empty throne next to him. Every action kind of furthering and quickening his decay. I should really say but it's decay.
Who are you?
Well, what I am is harmony.
Sully does the equivalent of crossing himself. Like the idea that, like Catholics in church when they approach an altar kind of thing.
Yes, I will say I think that all of you maybe have gone off the edge of the map. I am not as you see me. That is merely a shadow, but yes, I am Harmony, the concept.
Is that... So if you're Harmony, is that Chaos's throne over there?
It should be. But alas, it lies empty and the fount is divided. Split and destroyed by my failure.
What did you do?
What was your failure?
I stopped being able to restrain chaos. My job was simple, hold the galaxy in balance.
Yeah, simple job, it sounds like.
It was for time uncountable. And then someone broke through to this more conceptual plane. Ships came and chaos escaped. I failed to hold him, and now here we are, broken.
So who was it that came and started all this?
I do not know. An ancient civilization, one eons ago, one that learned to travel through space too quickly, one that learned to cheat, and one that found itself in a place outside of places. They paid a terrible price and brought something terrible back with them.
So if chaos could escape and bring chaos more into our galaxy, whatever you want to call it, I guess, place that's not here, can we break you out? Can you escape and bring Harmony back with us?
Harmony looks down at its body and goes, I doubt I would be much use. That being said, that does not mean I cannot help.
All right, we're listening.
Harmony, with like bone-breaking effort, literally holds his sword level and goes, This is my blessing. Someone may take it with them and find it beneficial, but I warn you, it comes at a cost.
And that cost would be?
Being the champion of Harmony is a responsibility, not merely a tool.
Would this, being this champion, be able to cleanse chaos out of people?
That is a funny question. I have never tried, and I do not know.
I think Jyla looks at Sully kind of expectantly, just because she knows how much his, like, Harmony weird sense means to him.
I feel like Sully is, like, very conflicted about this. On the one hand, like, this is kind of what his religion and life is kind of built on to a large degree. But on the other hand, it's also, like, having to murder people, which is, like, counter to what he has, like, sworn to do.
Do you want to ask that question in character?
Well, I think he's gonna ask, so if you were to take a guess if that would work, though.
If this sword could cleanse chaos from another person, I would say this is a place of concept, not of physical objects. You see a sword, I see a tool, and a blessing.
But you just said this wasn't a tool, it was a responsibility.
Yes, that's also true. My point is, the sword is a metaphor. Much as I am.
Think you can do some surgery, Doc?
I guess I could take this responsibility. It seems like a lot, but
You know, it's not, even if you take this, it's not just your responsibility, right? Like, we're in this, all of us at this point.
Sully will step up and grabs the sword.
As soon as you grab the, like, hilt of the sword, the being in front of you decays to dust almost immediately, and you feel an incredible weight of this thing in your hand.
Well, it feels like a sword.
Did Harmony just die?
I think Harmony was already dead, and that was his last death throw, if I were to take a guess.
All right. Anybody know what we do now?
I think we do what we have always done, and that's fight chaos.
Yeah, it definitely feels like this isn't just a job from the Outlaws anymore.
All right. So you make your way, ponderously back to your vessel, all the while Sully is having to deal with the fact that he's carrying a rather large sword. As you walk, the sword kind of slowly starts to change shape and size to not be quite so cumbersome for Sully. It seemed like whatever was holding this before, that sword matched that thing's ability to hold it. And it's now changing to match Sully. So yeah, you get back on board your vessel. When you do, you hear shouting.
I think our guests are awake, maybe?
Yeah, I suppose this done probably wore off. I better go take a look at him.
Mal walks up, stuns him again, walks out.
Vi goes with Mal to deal with the children.
You walk up into the officer's lounge. There is a makeshift target set up made out of like cushions from like the couch and like with stuff sewn on it. Alistair and Marilla are like both crouching behind a couch using it as a backrest as they fire blaster fire into the makeshift target. There, see, I told you. The imposition has always been the best shots. It is known throughout the galaxy. Meanwhile, Alistair is like Robin Hooding each one of her shots.
I also just imagine this is like blaster fire.
It's not good. I mean, it's like leaving marks on the wall. They're shooting a couch cushion with a laser.
No, but you're saying like she's Robin Hooding it, or he's.
I think it's just like there's like a burning hole, and he like makes that hole smoke more.
Yeah, it's like the same hit. They're both doing over and over and over again.
Well, seems like the two of you have made up, huh?
We haven't made up, we just simply have a contest in front of us. We need to determine who's the best, so we're doing it by the numbers. It's the most obvious way for us to determine which one of us is the most competent person to pilot any ship.
Okay, well, can you do that off of the ship? Like, not right now, like, but can you not be shooting at the ship?
Well, I mean, maybe if you set us a better challenge to see who is the best.
Who can go the longest without annoying Vika?
Yeah, okay, we'll figure out a better challenge for you, but just stop blowing holes in my ship.
Fine enough for now. Perhaps some strategy game on that stupid little hollow table. And they kind of like both grumpily go and start playing some version of hollow chess angrily.
Is Lucy powered back up at this point?
He's not, but you can power him back up.
Gosh, I mean, it's been a while since we checked on Lucy.
Can I check on the chaos person that we have?
Oh, snap!
Oh gosh, I forgot about that.
Oh, I forgot all about that chaos person.
Yeah, we have Marilla's extra ship, and we have a chaos person somewhere.
You can check on that chaos person.
Okay, what's happening?
So you like go up to like a window facing, like, if there's like a window between the two ships maybe, and you like peek in. They are kneeling on the ground. Their mouth is wide open and you can't hear anything, but it seems like they're just screaming.
So a toddler.
Yeah, if they were toddler was like frozen mid-cry.
That's very unsettling.
Vika, I know that you wanted to do a lot of different tests on this individual, but this might cut our testing short, but would you like me to try to see if I can cleanse him from chaos?
Oh.
I feel like it's going to cut a little bit of our research short, but I think it's a good question to have us have answered now in a contained environment, as opposed to when we're running from them.
Well, the good news for you is that I'm not the one. I wanted to get him, but not for me to run experiments, because that's not my jam. So if your professional opinion as the medic on board want to try this out, I say go for it.
So I was just imagining the medic's professional opinion is that he should stab this person with a sword to see if it heals him.
I mean, we got a lot of weird magic stuff going on. We may as well see what we can do.
I don't know if I would say this is my medical opinion on what we should do, but I think it's worth trying since we got this new responsibility tool. I'm still really unclear what this is. He was mixing a lot of metaphors, and I'm not good at metaphors usually, so I'm a little confused. But I got this big sword that is not as big. So this sword that used to be a big sword, but is still a large sword, but not super large.
I get it, Sully. No, you're not the only one who found him confusing. So no, you know more than I do. I say go for it.
Can I try to cleanse him, Cody?
Well, what you have is a sword that's like swingable right now, and stabbable. And there's like a dude in there who is, I believe as I described him, like 8 feet tall and kind of hulking and massive, and is currently kneeling on the ground. And if you could turn on the intercom, just screaming one solid pitched note. So you tell me what you want to do.
Okay, so my first thing is, can I, Kingdom Hearts this? Where basically, I shoot a beam of light out of the sword to heal him?
So you, swing the sword and kind of, point it, and you don't get Legend of Zelda zappy rays out of the end of it.
Okay.
You don't have the Master Sword yet.
Okay. Vika, would you mind manning the teleporter to teleport me over there?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, I thought this was in our cargo bay.
No, you guys, sequestered him on another ship.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Because we have Marilla's ship, yeah.
Do you think you'll want some backup just in case?
If you'd like to come with, Mal, as long as Vika thinks she can handle 2 people as easily as 1.
I can handle 2 people in the teleporter, Sully. That's not the problem. The teleporter is not that complicated. I can figure it out.
All right.
If he moves at you, you get the space out of there. Hear me?
I plan to. I do not want to be corrupted, especially if I am an agent of harmony.
Well, good. Right.
That seems counterintuitive.
Well, you two be careful. And she teleports you over.
You both teleport into the cargo bay of a ship slightly smaller than yours. So it's fairly contained, but not super close quarters. As soon as you fully materialize in the other ship, there is just immediately an ear-splitting, almost tuning fork-like pure note coming from the corrupted creature in front of you. But that cuts off immediately as the creature stands, and as it does so, you can see black ichor pouring from its body and shaping itself into claw-like tendrils and spikes and other heads that are growing from its body.
Stab it?
Are you sure we're really up for this?
I think it's worth finding out. I try to stab it.
Go ahead and roll me blast some baddies plus tough.
Oh gosh, not great. Hey Malcolm, do you want to support a friend?
I mean, that's what I'm there to do, right? Can I say I'm using cool because I'm standing at the ready in case he needs assistance to intervene?
Yeah.
Or you're putting down cover fire or something, could also use
blocking
cool.
blows with your gun sword.
That is a 12.
Okay, so yeah, you're able to kind of bat away claws and spikes as Sully lunges forward with this sword that he is kind of ill-equipped to use.
Oh, he is very ill-equipped. I have a 0 in tough.
Mal is the best friend.
All right, so you have 2 camaraderie, I think, technically to spend, or I think you can only spend 1 now, though.
Well, either way, I'm going to only use 1.
Okay.
So we'll have 1 left, and I'll have a 10.
So you leap forward and slash at some of the tendrils that are, writhing from this creature's frame. As you do so, they, detach and slowly start to dissipate and do not seem to regrow. But, so your weapon doesn't have specific tags on it yet. It's okay. Just kind of let that slide as this is a weird weapon and this is a weird fight. Is that okay?
No, you said it's a tough weapon. That's the issue.
I just mean this is an unusual for the rules fight and weapon.
Yes, I get you.
You take 2 damage as these claw-like heads start biting into you and slashing at you.
Can we see this?
Yeah, you would have seen this as soon as they teleported in.
Are you guys doing anything?
I think Jyla is on the comms. Sully.
Jyla, I am fine.
I saw it biting you, and
I feel completely normal. I slash at it again.
All right.
Yeah, Vi's got her hand over the teleporter, she's she is ready to teleport you guys back.
Figure out the trigger.
Nope, it did not go well.
What did you roll?
Got a 4.
Cool. So you take 3 damage as this thing like slams you across the room into a wall and like is now like jumping on top of you, like tearing at you.
I'm gonna shoot at it to try to draw it off.
Former Admiral Captain Malcolm Llewellyn, not to be an inconvenience or anything, but this is beginning to hurt a little bit.
I got a 11 to shoot it.
You return fire against it, and you can see like the blaster fire that would normally be making impacts or like burn marks kind of just shoving the creature back and like almost being absorbed, but the impacts are being felt. It turns a plurality of its heads towards you and starts clawing its way towards you. The feet of this, whatever this was before, are no longer touching the ground. They're being carried along by tendrils of black. Oh, and it slams into you and does 1 damage. I forgot how this game works there for a second. Sorry.
Could other members of our crew be giving camaraderie or help?
You'd have to make a compelling way. So narrative always wins, basically. If you can tell me how you help, yes. But it can't just be by going, we believe in you.
What if Vika starts improperly teleporting parts of the monster into space? Like, she teleports just a hand.
I mean, that's not a terrible idea.
I mean, it's a little gruesome, but...
It's not a terrible idea, but I think in her head, which means in my head, this was going to be like a quick trial to see if this thing worked. And if it's not really working, she wants to teleport you guys back.
You are able to teleport them back if you want.
I want to try to take another slash before that happens.
We'll say these things kind of happen synonymously. So Mandy, make a act under pressure, and Sully, make your attack.
Oh, come on. I need a good roll. I'll take it, an 8.
Okay, so you cut off one more of the like writhing and multitudinous heads as you feel yourself being teleported back to the ship. So
I had a 9, so...
Oh, okay.
You can take a camaraderie and make that a 10.
Sure.
Okay, so you saved them from a little bit of damage, basically. Good. So, like, a returning strike just misses you as you're teleported out of the room, both of you. So you land back safely on your own ship. There is a beat pause, and then you hear the sound of grinding and tearing metal from where the other ship is docked to yours.
Well, I mean, that could have gone better, and I think we got its attention.
Is it leaving, or is it, like, trying to claw through the wall?
You'd have to run over. Where's your docking port at? I guess you guys said you were looking through the glass, right?
Yeah.
So you can see this thing, like, starting to cut through the door of your ship and, like, squirm its way into your ship.
No.
I'm gonna get on comms and say, Marilla, Alistair, if you want target practice, now's the time. Come down to the cargo bay now.
All right, cool. You hear like footsteps crashing down the stairs of the officer's lounge as this creature fully smashes its way onto your vessel proper, and it's anyone's turn who wants to go.
I'm taking a shot. I just rolled an 11 to shoot at it, which is 2 damage coming its way.
Okay, so again, similar to when Malcolm fired on it, you can see what normally you'd expect to be like burned holes instead are just pushing it backwards, and like seem more like punches are hitting into kind of this mass of black heads and tentacles that are sprouting from it. And it turns its kind of now lumbering and dragging body towards you and bites at you with one of those heads, dealing 2 damage.
Eep.
I like how we're just like Dark Soulsing this, like, here's an optional mini-boss that we found on our own, and now we're fighting, and made it really worse.
Oops.
I think Jyla wants to try to prevent the side of the ship from opening up more.
Okay.
And can I give Sully camaraderie for that by, like, limiting basically, like, the target box is more stationary that way because it's not like flailing into the room.
I thought it was already all the way in the room.
Oh, okay.
Are you about to try to explode another barrier into existence?
No, since we're in the cargo bay, she was gonna like try to get a welding tool type thing Just gonna try to fix it.
Oh, okay. And you just want to, like, seal it into, like, a narrower area?
Yeah.
Okay, so you start, like, blocking off doors and possible avenues of escape. I like that. Yeah, you can make some camaraderie roll for that.
That's just a straight roll, right?
No, it'd be plus cool.
Okay.
It's dependent on what you're doing.
Okay, that's an 8.
So you gain 1 camaraderie, but you will, like, suffer consequence as a result.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right, what's everyone else doing?
And do you want me to go, Mal, or are you going to go?
I think that was to help you, that camaraderie roll of Caitlin's.
Yep.
I mean, it's just in a pool, so I didn't know if you wanted to go. I'll go, though. Sully's going to try to cleanse it with the sword. He doesn't.
Okay, so you rush up to take another swing. And again, this is just, like, outside of the realm of what you usually do. So dueling with a multi-headed Chaos Hydra is not your wheelhouse. You take another 2 harm as you are, like, kind of losing ground in this duel.
I don't think your sword's working there, Sully.
I believe it would help if I could hit it. So if you have any ideas to restrain it a little bit more, most of my patients don't try to eat me when I am treating them.
Try to figure out what I can do.
Stun. Would stunning count as camaraderie?
You could make a status effect, maybe, of stunned.
Okay, I don't remember how everything works, because we've been doing more ship combat than other combat lately.
We have been lately. You can make status effects.
Okay, yeah, I guess I'll blast some baddies. No, I don't.
Okay, so you fire at this thing, but again, it's like your shots aren't exactly getting purchase on it, but right as you're, like, kind of starting to lose momentum in the battle, the door to the kitchen flies open, and Marilla and Alistair both kind of prop themselves up with their target practice lasers that they were using and lay down a hail of fire against this thing, just bullseye after bullseye from both of them, causing it to kind of reel back and kind of provide an opening, which I'll give it the, like, status of distracted or, you know, off balance.
Do I take any damage?
Oh yeah, you would have taken 2 damage. Sorry. I completely forget sometimes to do that just because of, like, the way the system works.
Yeah, I'm going to try to hit it again. Well, this is going much better. I'm using the distracted tag of or off balance of 1.
Yep.
That's a 10.
Okay, cool. You swing through, like, one of the largest and most snapping, biting heads that had sprouted off of this thing, and it kind of disintegrates and melts off of whoever this was that had been tainted by chaos. As that last head kind of disintegrates, you can see the rest of them beginning to kind of, like, slow and wriggle less aggressively and start to liquefy around this person, who, as the chaos kind of oozes off of them, is just kind of left panting and laying on the floor.
But they're alive?
They are alive.
And Chaos is currently in a pool on the floor.
Yeah, there's just, like, a puddle of black around them.
Is it evaporating, or is it just like...
Dissipating?
Yeah, that. Like, is it, like, just, like, going away, or is it, like...
It is not ectoplasming at the moment.
Is the person, like, doing anything?
They're kind of like, their eyes are open, they're laying on the floor, panting and wheezing.
Okay. I think we still need to contain that.
Jyla, help me get this person to the med bay, and let's make sure to strap them down.
All right.
Mind your step. There's a puddle of chaos there.
I see that, Sully.
Mal, help me find something to put the chaos in.
Just a mason jar.
All right, you guys get a mop bucket for the chaos. This is your chaos mop bucket.
I do like the idea that everything, all of our spare parts are in a mason jar. Like, just, like, they're all separated, but instead of, like, having drawers, it's just Vika has 45 different mason jars.
Nuts, bolts, chaos.
So you kind of carry this, like I said, about 8 foot tall, still humanoid, but just kind of larger and hulking man to the medbay and lay him on the table. As you do this and start strapping him down, he seems to kind of be coming to. As you're belting him down, he seems confused and disoriented, but starting to understand what's happening. May I ask why you seem to be belting me to a surgery table?
Yes, it is because you were, up until recently, an agent of chaos. with multiple heads sprouting out of you that were trying to kill us, and we just want to make sure that everything seems normal before we let you roam around the ship.
What's your name?
My name is Ignace, and you said I'm an agent of what with how many heads? Again, for me one more time.
Agent of chaos and many heads. 5 or 6.
Got you. Is there a way off of this ship? I think I need to leave. I have people waiting for me, I'm sure, and...
What's the last thing you remember?
I was a bodyguard on a trade ship, and he kind of like looks off into space confused. I think the last thing from that I remember was we were maybe halfway through our journey. It was boring.
Do you remember the star date?
He gives a star date that's like 2 years ago.
Well, I have some unfortunate news. It is now, and then I give him like the date of like being 2 years later.
Great. So are you going to let me off of this ship, or how do we proceed here? He's kind of like starting to strain against his restraints.
Excuse me, did you not hear the part where you've skipped 2 years of your life?
Sure, make a grease the wheels here.
Okay.
You want me to make it? I have a charm of -1.
So do I.
I mean, Jyla can make it. Oh, well.
Do you have a charm of -1 as well?
I sure do.
You can put 2 camaraderie into that, though. We have 2.
I don't know if it's worth it.
I think it is. This person might, like, this is our first person that we've cured from chaos. I think having them on our side is good.
Okay. Yeah, I'll throw 2 camaraderie at that.
Let me make a call and we might be able to talk, but I do not want to be restrained any longer. I do not trust either of you.
Let me quickly perform a medical scan and then I will happily release you. Deal?
Fine.
So, Sully knows that performing like a scientific medical check isn't going to show him anything. So he's not trying to heal this guy this time. He's more just trying to like sense if there's chaos in him.
Okay.
Oh, like he did with Jyla.
Like he did with Jyla, except like not trying to cure it at all. Like there is no like trying to fix it. It is just like trying to see if it is there.
Okay.
So, because I don't want Sully to get more contaminated. 11. It's so much nicer when you have a +3 versus a 0.
You do not get the sense that there is any chaos present on this person.
Okay, so like Sully, to put this person more at ease, like you know, like hits the like auto readout buttons and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But like while he's doing that, he's not really caring. And then the other results come back. He's like, "All right, it looks like you are good to go." And then he like releases him.
As soon as you let the straps off of him, he doesn't like lunge at you or anything. He just gets off the table and kind of puts himself in a corner, kind of paranoidly watching both of you.
Is there anything we can help you with? What faction do you belong to? That might be a good place to start.
I'm with the Interstellar Council, and I am fairly hungry.
Okay, well, so I'm not usually the person that does this, so this is gonna be a little rough, but I used to be in the Interstellar Council, and by that I mean I am now in the Outlaws, and this is an outlaw ship, and we have someone from every faction on board right now, part of this crew, and then we also have an extra imposition soldier who is a criminal, but that's not really important. We broke her out of prison, so that's not really a big deal, so she's getting her own ship, so she should behave. That's not really a problem, I don't think. But then we also have a Galactic Alliance member who does want to kill both imposition members, but
Sully.
he is friend.
As you're saying this, he's like reaching over and grabbing a scalpel and backing like further and like trying to smash himself into the corner of this room.
Jyla like holds up her hands and like elbows Sully like, stop, and is like, I have good news. We have a chef. He's excellent. Let's go to the kitchen and get you something to eat.
All right.
I go in and I wake up Lucy by hitting the wake up button, which I'm positive has to just be like a pure adrenaline shot into him.
When you do that, like jerks, his eyes snap open and he just goes, "Nightmares! Nightmares for all eternity!" How are you doing?
Good. If it makes you feel better. most other people on this crew had nightmares.
Oh, that's every time I wake up, I feel the same constant dread. It spikes our ability to respond to an attack. What can I do for you?
This is Ignace. He who used to be an agent of chaos. We cured him. Lots of weird stuff has happened. We'll have tea soon, Lucy, and I will fill you in on all of it. But for right now, would you mind making him some food?
So you witness probably the most surreal thing you have ever seen, which is an imposition soldier in full power armor make a, haphazard but full of love meal for an 8-foot-tall bodyguard from the Interstellar Council, and they sit on undersized seats and eat in a confused silence together.
Oh my gosh.
Just two giants snacking on freeze-dried scrambled eggs.
We hope you enjoyed this latest episode of Outlaws Wanted. Music for the show is from danosongs.com, audionautics.com, zapsplat.com, and the public domain. If you liked this show, you can check out more of our actual plays at the Wandering Gamer Network's website or Podbean, as well as interact with us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We also post Let's Plays on YouTube under the channel Wandering Gamer Network, and on Twitch we can be found at Wandering_Gamer_Network. You can also find us on YouTube under the channel Wandering Gamer Network, and on Twitch we can be found at Wandering_Gamer_Network. Now remember, it's not the outlaw that makes trouble. It's trouble that makes the outlaw.